You're on.
Good morning. Welcome to the Sports Desk, streamed on Facebook Live on ProView Networks. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with producer Aden Chavez. Our special guest today, Cibola quarterback Aden Chavez. And Aden, you've been making the rounds with a lot of media outlets. You had a segment with our ProView colleague, Sebastian Noel, on Local Focus. You were on with Van Tate. You've been making the rounds media-wise, and we're certainly glad you decided to join us today. Thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, especially.
Aden, yeah, you've put in a lot of work, and one of the things I wanted to get to first is I talked to head coach Rod Williams last night, and I wanted to get some ideas and thoughts about you as a teammate, as a player. And this is what he said: you're always happy, like another coach. You want to make sure teammates are in the right spots. You study film. You're impressed. He's impressed with your leadership. You've also benefited from having your brother Aden Chavez, the former quarterback. That's helped you. Your father's an offensive coach over there at Cibola, but that's what your head coach Rod Williams said about you. Again, Coach Rod Williams, one of the finest gentlemen you'll ever meet. A great football coach, but a better person. I have such respect for him. But he had a lot of good things to say about you. Can you comment on that a little bit? Again, Coach Williams, just a great guy.
I mean, yeah, all of the people around me have kind of like benefited me all the time. And even like my brother, just like watching him play and like watching him like have resilience and like learn how to like read a defense and all that. And even just going back to Yaffle with like me and my dad, just like him being my offensive coordinator and slowly like teaching me how to read a defense and all that. And just with Coach Williams, he's always just benefited with me, like helping me just be by his side and always trying to like learn what he's trying to do and everything that he's trying to, I guess, get across.
Let's go over your statistics. You started varsity as a freshman, which is very hard to do. I think I broadcast, and I mentioned 3 or 4 of your games last year. And your stats, you had 428 yards, 6 TDs. 1,493 yards, 13 passing TDs in 5.5 games, 72% passing completion. And as I mentioned last night, and you mentioned this to me, and this was not a knock on you, when I thought about Cibola, it's a tunnel screen, middle screen passes all day long. Now, talk about that a little bit, because you said Coach Williams wanted to put you in the best position to succeed then as a freshman quarterback. Now, things will be different if the season starts again in February, as we all hope it does in 2021. But talk a little bit about Coach Williams and his game plans for you last year.
Well, last year it was all kind of getting the ball out quickly because I knew he didn't want me to take hits because I was like a smaller type of guy. Even though I was kind of tall, I didn't have the weight on me last year. And the thing was to get the ball out quick and try and get yards from our talented players like Mikey Garcia. Get him the ball, let him run, let him make a play on it. And all those screens were just trying to, I guess, move the ball down the field slowly without me taking hits and keep me in the game.
And I'll tell you what, you had a lot of success with that. I believe Cibola went to 4-0 before you met La Cueva. And you were just talking about that game, and you can tell, and you're a competitor, right? I think there's games that we all look back on and say, gosh, we should have won that one. And you're still thinking, even back a year later, that you should have beaten Cueva. You also had a tough game against Los Lunas. Jeremy Malpin, again, the head coach of Los Lunas, one of the best coaches in the state, no question about it. Had Tyler Keeney and Bryce Santana last year's defensive end. Those help. Talk a little bit about that game. And there's always growing curves, right? What did you learn in those two tough games? There were losses, right? Wins are great. We probably learn more by losing, unfortunately. But talk a little bit about what you learned against both games, against the Cueva and Las Lunas, as far as coverages, things that you picked up from those games.
Those games, I realized in both of those games that turnovers can really shift the tide of a game. And I knew against the Cueva, because we were leading at half, that if we could keep the lead and slowly keep on marching down the field as we were doing in the first half, that we could beat them. But we started off the half and we were driving down the field good after we got an interception, and one of our star receivers fumbled. And then they went down and scored, and then we fumbled again. And then I threw a pick that next drive. So in that game, I slowly realized that the interceptions can really get you away from the lead. And then against Los Lunas I just think that we weren't all mentally there. I mean, we were kind of scared going into that game. And I just think that from the get-go, we knew that if we played scared against them, they were going to beat us, because we knew that they could score points. And so since we got sacked and we got all of our hopes got down, we just couldn't produce.
It takes, as you mentioned, one play to make the whole thing, the wheels come off, right? Now, and you mentioned there's 2 turnovers and a pick. But again, it's a learning process. Coach Malpin probably, as you mentioned, you said that disguised coverages had different looks for you, and as a freshman quarterback, you come a long way for sure. But those are things that you hadn't seen at that point up to those games. But again, I think from just on the outside looking in, those are experiences that when you see those coverages and you see different things. Plus, we're going to go over some camps that you've went to. You're going to a camp this weekend in Arlington. Those are things where the sum of all our life's experiences. And again, you've got people like Coach Williams in your ear, your father, Aden Chavez. Talk about a little bit about working out with Derek Martinez this spring. You worked out with Derek Martinez, the Lobo quarterback. Talk about that work there.
Yeah, so 3 days a week I would go with him, and then the other 3 days a week I would train with my dad and other teammates. And the thing with Derek was it was really good because he worked on my mechanics as game style. It weren't just simple drills that I could go through with anybody. He was giving me drills that went to me and went to my weaknesses that he tried to improve. And it was a really good kind of experience that happened with him, because I'm not someone that he knows more. He knew going into high school. He was a quarterback too, just Gannon for 2 years, and they both had experience. So I know what I need to do and what I need to exceed in.
And that's a good thing. And I think too, one of the things that Coach Williams said about you, and I think it's really important, is you're coachable. Because there's some people now, some kids, let's be honest, I've coached kids before. I coached a lot of basketball, and sometimes people get mad if they think you're picking on them or being overly critical, but you have to be coachable. You have to be open to suggestions, especially from people that have played the position right before you. It's a different look that Gannon had, that you have. This is a pass-happy college, pros, YFL. It used to be, and you can ask your dad this, 30 years ago, a lot of ground and pound, right? A lot of running the ball. Now it's a wide open pass game, wide open. And so for a guy like you, who's worked so hard on these skills, you got to love it. You got to love it, because you're going to throw the ball 25, 30, maybe 35 times a game. That's got to play to your strengths right there.
Yeah, it's always I always think that me throwing the ball has always been, I don't know. I just love throwing the ball, but even giving the ball to Slade, it even helps and benefits, because I think the running the ball can open up the passing game and vice versa. But the passing game that now it's evolved, it's obviously my benefit, because I can be able to throw the ball and get the ball down the field with just my arm.
You got to be able to keep the defenses off balance. And I think that Coach Williams, with the plays that at least I saw in 3 or 4 games, I thought he had a great package for you. I really did. Now, let's talk about the other work you've done, because you've added 25 pounds. Now, it's hard to do that really at your age. Now, people talk about this is in the past, right? Eating. Talk about the weight that you've added in a healthy way, because you've had a good diet, I'm sure. You've lifted weights like a madman to get that 25 pounds on. Talk about without losing speed, right? You didn't go gorge yourself on triple hamburgers. Talk about a little bit about the diet, and because again, during COVID, a lot of people have, I was one of them, just eating everything in sight, right? Talk a little bit about that and how you got the 25 pounds on your frame in a healthy way.
Well, basically what it started with was my dad he always knew that I needed to gain weight going into my years. And so right as soon as I recovered from my injury and after the basketball season, I had to eat a lot. So I was on a calorie of like 3,000 calories a day. And we'd make eggs in the morning, and then we'd eat like a good lunch, and then we'd eat again, and then dinner. And all of it was just kind of a part of like a cycle, and then I'd go to the gym with my brother. And so all of it was kind of just like a cycle I had to keep going through to put on weight. And even now, I'm still putting on more pounds just because I just need to keep on eating and being able to maintain my weight.
Talk about the healthy weight though, because again, what you're eating to get that weight, because people are they might think, oh shoot, I just need to go eat, drink shakes and eat it fast food. And that's not a good health. We know now that's not healthy weight, right? We know that you're lifting, what are you eating? Again, the 25 pounds, that's, I don't know what the growth is between, freshman and sophomore year, but that's a lot of weight. But again, it's good weight. You didn't lose any speed, things like that, right? It's going to be beneficial to your game when things resume. Talk a little bit about what it is that's healthy, because there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, Aden Chavez gained 25 pounds. He got stronger. He's an inspiration to me. Talk a little bit about that.
I think just like the healthy things with gaining weight is just like, even like, I know it's like a little like things like eating your vegetables and be able to work out in the process too. You can't just put on weight and just leave it. You got to still be able to work out and exercise and not be able to just eat meats all the time and do all that stuff. You got to put on good calories that are just not calories. You can't put on shakes, like 6,000 calorie shakes. No, it doesn't really help you, but it's just, I think it's all about good weight and being able to keep like exercise during it so you don't lose speed, like you said.
It's got to feel good, because again, you're checking all the boxes here, right? You're going to camps, you're getting tutored by guys that have played the position and who you respect, by the way, because if you look at these guys and you don't respect what they did and the work that they put in, it's not going to work, right? Period. And you respect your Coach Williams, you got your dad talking to you. So there's so many things that are making what we are going to see when things resume, a quarterback that really put in the work during the offseason. And a lot of people don't put in that work, right? And let's be honest, there's people that want to put in that work, but don't have, after a while, they're like, they work hard for 2 days, right? They're like, yeah, man, I'm going to go play whatever video game. It's just too hard. So you definitely put into work. And how anxious are you to get back on that field?
I've been anxious since the second I got injured. I mean, I've just always wanted to be able to prove that I'm not just kind of like a simple quarterback. I've always wanted to prove that I'm not just some type of headlines that got 420 yards passing in one game. I want to keep on trying to repeat it and move on forward and kind of show other teams that are kind of downplaying me, like Volcano and Cleveland and all of them, since I didn't play them, that I'm me and we're Cibola and we're still coming to get you, even though I didn't play last time.
I'll tell you what, I love it. You got to have that swag, right? You have to have it. I mean, people might say it's cocky, but you know what? All the good ones are a little bit cocky, right? I mean, it's not arrogant. It might be a little, somebody might say that, but heck, I would feel the same way if I were you, if I didn't get a shot at those guys. I'm like, you know what? I didn't get a shot last year, but I'll definitely be back next year. I'm going to be here. And I think that's the confidence. It's exuding confidence. You have to. You're in the position there where you're the leader of the team, right? Quarterback, who looks at, the quarterback's the leader of the team, definitely. So I think if you guys see you with that kind of confidence there, they're definitely more excited and confident in their own abilities. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Cibola quarterback Aden Chavez on the sports desk after these messages.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles!
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer! Here's Aden Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer! Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10!
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Hill, the senior pop.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Live on Facebook, ProView Networks. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with producer Aden Chavez. Our special guest today is Cibola quarterback Aden Chavez. And Aden, again, thanks so much for joining us in this segment. And I wanted to go over some other things. You know, we talked about quarterbacking and the people that you've learned from. There's so many things. Your father, John, was very kind to send some other accomplishments that you had done. And there's one that's really important to me that stands out, 4.2 GPA honors in AP classes. And, you know, again, to me, athletics is one thing. Academics will always carry the day, right? I mean, not everyone's going to be lucky enough to get a scholarship. You're definitely on track for that. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, what's going to transpire, but again, you're climbing that ladder, and it seems that, you know, again, that you're probably going to land a scholarship. Everything falls in place. But the 4.2 GPA in honors classes is something to be very proud of. But I want to ask you, and there's more football, and we're going to get into that here. There's so many camps that you've been to. You've worked with a lot of different quarterbacks besides Derek Martinez and your brother Gannon. There's so many camps that you've been to. Also, medicine ball throw, vertical jump for a quarterback, second best rating for a quarterback taller than 6'3". So many athletic accomplishments that you've done. You could dunk in 8th grade. I don't know a lot of kids that could do that. Honest to God, I've been around basketball a long time, and I have seen a lot of kids dunk in 8th grade, although I think now it's more common than it was back in the day. But talk about, I want to ask you this a little bit. This pandemic, we're in a global pandemic, and a global pandemic hasn't happened since 1917. This is something that was totally unexpected, and it's, taken a toll on athletics, on businesses, on people's personal lives, professional lives. It's called, for New Mexico at least, to be locked up, right, or locked down. There are no sports, and we're hoping the NMAA last week said they moved their start back to February 2021. And my hope is that maybe the governor will look at some statistics of other states that were able to pull sports off and say, hey, maybe we can get it done. Let's hope. I'm hoping for that. But I want to ask, how's it been for you for remote learning? Because a lot of people, again, I was a social guy. I would pick up things from other people in class, but maybe I didn't do right. Maybe I'd hear a presentation saying, oh, wow, I didn't put that in my presentation. Don't call on me. So I picked up things from different people, right? And social learning. How's it been for you and people that you know as far as remote learning?
For me, I don't know. It's kind of been like a little, it's been a shift, because I'm the type of person who asks the teacher questions and always tries to figure out stuff I don't know. And so during this period, I've had to kind of either teach myself or ask the people around me, like my friends, if they understand it. And I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's just kind of it's a different type of kind of exchange, because from school, you got to do your own classwork during the class, and now they give you the stuff and you have to do it after. So it's all kind of about time management and your decisions with what you're doing, because without time management, you could be playing video games all night and not even know that you have an assignment. So it's all just kind of what you're focusing on.
It's a good point, and there's been some other people that I've seen this, some articles that there's a 2 to 4 year learning loss now. They're thinking 3 to 5 years, and I don't know that it's that much, right? But I think the point that you make is a lot of people need that structure, right, of being in school, of the same structure every day. 11:30, I've got history. 1 o'clock, I've got English. Lunch in between, history. Whatever class that there is, DECA class. All those things are important, and so I think it's been very hard on a lot of kids, teachers too. And parents. Parents have had to stay home and help their kids remote learn. And a lot of them don't have a lot of experience in that. I think it's been hard for everybody. And I'm hoping, again, just like I said, for football or sports period, that there's a way to get the kids at school, back in school in January. Let's hope. We don't know what's going to happen, really. This thing is so unpredictable, right? And we got another huge outbreak a month ago, causing the governor to shut things down. And people are going to argue about it, right? And we're going to have a lot of different opinions on what should happen. And right. And there's a million, again, a lot of social media experts on what should be done. I just know that, as far as I know, I don't have the right 100% answer. And I don't think anybody does. But I think, the other thing I want to ask you is, and this is a tragic story. There's been some suicides, and a Hobbs quarterback took his life. I believe it was yesterday. And gosh, I heard that, and I'm not sure. Again, they're saying because there was no athletics. I don't know. Either way, it's tragic. It's tragic. There's been some suicides around that, and also some kids in the Hobbs area that I understand have moved to other places to play. And I want to get your quick comment on that, because that's, again, those are just tragic things that nobody really has control of. But again, the pandemic, there's been other people in business, things like that has affected so many people. But I just want to get your quick comment on that.
I mean, I just think even just like you said, some people are just social people. And now with this whole pandemic, you can't really talk to people if you're really the type of person that needs that social contact with other people. And even with football, I know I have my brotherhood in my football team. There's people I talk to, and I just have relationships to just because of football. My O-line, I'm friends with all of them because I met them and they're my O-line. And that's just kind of a social interaction that you learn because of football. And so without that interaction, it can change a lot of things. And it just is a rough patch we all have to get through.
You better have that relationship with your offensive lineman, right?
I love them.
They're your guardians, man. They make sure you stay upright. But as far as your friends and people that you have on the team that you've talked to, has it been I'm thinking it's been hard for everybody. Because again, remember, I was talking to your dad about this, or talking to Coach Williams. Coach Williams envisions the game. He envisions the pregame talk. He envisions the whole event. He's been coaching for how long? Played football in the Mexico Highlands. He's been doing it for years, right? And when that's taken away for something that we're used to doing, it's depressing. I don't care how you put it, right? It is. It's something that we're used to doing. You've got the game right on Friday night. After the game, Saturday afternoon, a community at 1 man, right? In a nice, crisp fall day. Doesn't get any better, right? And then after the games, it's the McDonald's, whatever you guys do. Everybody gets together. You get out of the car. Oh, man, there's Aden Chavez. There's a quarterback. And they do that, right? They do that. So it's different now. And how have your friends, again, you guys are probably still chatting on you guys do meet for workouts. You do still meet for workouts. How have they adjusted? How have the friends on the team, how have they adjusted?
I think partially the people who are really committed have all come together. The people who aren't committed, they kind of fallen off. Because I know the people who are committed with me, like my receivers, I've kind of grew a really close-knit bond with all my receivers that want to work out because they're always with me. And whenever I can get the chance to go throw with my receivers, I'm close with them because they know what I do and they know my work ethic and I know theirs. And so, and even like the O-line, all the O-line are working out as hard as they can, but I can't go with them because of their restrictions. And so everyone that wants to be committed they're all close because we're all working out together. And if you don't want to work out, then you're kind of on your own and you're kind of just, you've fallen off. And so I think it's just all about commitment, and all this stuff is either grew a bond or grew away from the bond.
This isn't going to last forever. We know that, right? I think there's some good news in that there's vaccines around the corner, and they don't know, exactly when New Mexico is going to have them available. We hope it's soon, right? We hope it's tomorrow. Realistically, I don't even want to comment on that because I could be wrong on that. But at least there's some light around I think there's some excitement there that this thing will be over. Hopefully next year at this time, you and I will have you back or having a different conversation. I think we will.
Yeah, I hope so. I just hope we can be talking football, talking about my stats and all the games and how our game outcome went.
There's some other things. You went to Under Armour camp. You've been to private workouts again. You've done so many things. Glendale, Arizona, Rise and Fire camp you're going to this week. You've done so much quarterback work, and the film study, the weightlifting, the mechanics, the things you're developing still as a quarterback. What are we going to see Derek Martinez when you're back on the field? All these things you're learning, how do you put it into work again? The film study, the 7-step drop, the turning right to left, the putting a certain touch on a pass, a swing pass composed to a sideline out route. All these things that you're learning. What are we going to see different from Derek Martinez when he's back on the field as opposed to what we saw from as a freshman?
I think it's all just kind of getting confidence and all of that. I know Coach Williams now is starting, me and him are talking, and we're going to be able to expand our kind of playbook. We can open up the playbook even more than just trying to get short stuff, because I feel like he's starting to get trust in me where I can throw the ball down the field and be able to work the ball down the field other than just screens and short passes. And we can just open a lot of things up. And even with that, me being able to throw the ball down the field will expand the defense, and it'll help out Slade. So even all of that can just help out the offense, just with me gaining confidence throwing the ball down the field.
Does he see you as a runner, as a running threat? Do you see a lot of RPOs, a lot of things you're going to be doing as a runner? Is he kind of afraid to expose you as a runner because he doesn't want you to get hurt? Again, that's a big option now. The RPOs is huge. But does Coach Williams kind of see you more as a passer, or do you think you'll be running the ball some too?
I think he wants me to be a mainly passer, but I think he wants to still have that availability for me to run the ball. Because I know we have plays that are designed for me to run the ball, or we have zone reads that can not only benefit me, but benefit Slade. And all of that, he just kind of wants me to be like a well-rounded quarterback that doesn't want me to be like strict to one kind of thing. Because there's plays where he was really excited about that I would pull the ball and I'd take it for my own run, because you point out like, oh, right there, that kind of shifted the defense. And so with you being able to run the ball, it can bring us more options.
There's no question about that. And the good thing is, though, this year when you were a freshman, now you've got 25 more pounds on your frame. So if you had to take those hits, you're a little bit more well-equipped to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the whole point about being able to take a hit and maybe sometimes deal a hit.
That's probably more fun than having to take one, because I tell you, some of the guys that you had to take hits from last year, you mentioned Bryce Santana and Tyler Keeney. Man, those guys are as good as they come in the state, right? I think Santana's playing for UNM right now, and Tyler Keeney's got a scholarship to UCLA. So, he's a graduating senior. Aden Chavez, we're going to wrap this up, but anything else you want to tell us? We sure appreciate you coming on with us today, and we look forward to seeing you back on the field. And good luck this weekend at the Arlington camp, right?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for having this experience with me. So just thank you for all this.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on. Thank your father for me. Like I said, you sound just like him, man. Your voice patterns are so. You should though. You are his son. So the special thanks to Aden Chavez, Cibola quarterback, for being our guest on Sports Desk. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll be back next Tuesday on the Sports Desk.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagle.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that anything better. He answered the question.
On
Got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. He wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What?